Well, yes, indeed. And one of the news that also broke yesterday was that comment coming through from the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation declaring Amotekun illegal. Well, we've got Chief Shupo Oshoni Barra here with us. He's a legal practitioner and a leader in Afenifere. Good morning, and thank you for coming on, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, when that broke and people read it, you know how the news reaction was frantic. People were trying to find out, okay, look what's happening. There were analysis, comparison with what's happening in different places, and boy. But I know that the group is quite disappointed about this one, but let me ask you, when you heard this, what were your immediate thoughts?
I was fairly dumbfounded because it seemed curious that, you know, this issue about security of the state has been a live issue that took even the governor some time to actually evolve a process with the police. And it seemed a bit curious that the Attorney General, watching that process, never uttered a word, no comment whatsoever, until he saw the entire process come to a completion. And I think he has some misconceived notion about what security entails. Security is not on the exclusive legislative list. It is not within the prerogative of the federal entity alone to determine issues on security. Don't forget, security is not just about carrying firearms. There are several other processes and necessary ingredients to the security architecture. So the Attorney General basically is just his own view. He can't determine, he's not a court of law. He's the Attorney General of the Federation. He's just a member of the Federal Executive Council. He's not even a member of the Police Council. So really he has no basis in declaring what has been properly exercised, the powers and functions that have been properly exercised by the various governors as being the chief security officers of their state in putting in place some process to complement the policing in their state.
Does that also mean that even if people interpret his comments saying, well, being the Attorney General, that could be the legal advice given to the federal government, and that could, by extension, mean the position of the federal government? So if they say, no, this is illegal, it doesn't change anything.
Well, it might be the position. Don't forget, the federal government is only an arm of government. At best, it can be the position of the presidency. Government consists of there are three arms of government. The body who can actually properly interpret what the Constitution says is the legislature. Is the judiciary. It's not the executive. The executive exercises executive functions of government. They're not. I mean, so when people actually carry out this notion of federal government, I mean, it's the presidency that's probably saying that through the Attorney General. If that is true, if that is the position of the president, I'm not so sure, but I hope we'll hear from the president if that's the position of the president. Because you see, don't forget again, the president sits in council with the police council, which he presides over. That police council determines and regulates even the functions of the police itself. It is those who constitute the police council, and police council is the creation of our constitution. Police Act is the creation of the parliament. So basically, even the police council has powers to regulate and determine issues on policing. The only difference, the only powers that has the president is the chairman of the police council, and the president is the one who determines the operational functions of the police. But what the Amotekun, what they have done is not policing. It is an outfit to ensure the security of the state. And they are
but it's a form of policing.
Well, if you say that having CCTV in your house to enable you know and secure your own environment is policing, then you can say that that's
No,
policing.
but that doesn't have the backing of vehicles,
no.
state support.
All the state governments have done is to put in place a further process that will enhance the policing in their state. They're responsible for the security of their state.
Okay. If I can just ask you, sir. So from what you have just said now,
Yes.
of course, what the Constitution says in 14(2)(b, that the security of lives and property, beg your pardon, is the responsibility of government.
Yes,
so against that backdrop, on what basis then would you say that the Office of the Attorney General made that statement declaring Amotekun illegal?
It's a fairly not well thought out statement. I really can't understand why. I mean, he's not declared the Civilian Joint Task Force assisting the military in parts of the country as being a legal outfit. So, I mean, we need to be careful, particularly if we occupy positions of authority in society, very careful about our utterances and how we address issues so that we don't say things that appear as if we're being sectional. It would not be out of place if people see what is said as being a sectional position in a situation where we're all aware of the fact that they're complementary outfits that even bear arms that are supporting various actions in various parts of the country. So why should you declare something that does not even entail the bearing of arms as being illegal? What is so illegal about it?
But do you think that the Office of the Attorney General should have been consulted? Because part of the statement that came out of the office is, trying to put it on record that there was no consultation with the Office of the Attorney General. Do you think that should have happened?
The Office of the Attorney General has no business in the issue of the security of the state. The functions of the Attorney General is that he's the chief. He actually enforces law in issues in advising the president and in commencing action on behalf of the government. He has no business in determining what the security architecture of any state should be. It's not a function of the Attorney General of the state. He probably has a misconceived notion of a military junta arrangement in which the military junta exercises both legislative, executive functions of a state. I mean, it's just the attorney is a chief law officer in the fact that he commences actions on behalf of the government. He advises the president, but he has no business in security architecture. He's not a member of the police council. And that shows that he has no business in determining the policies of policing in any state. He has no business in
some other people, give an example of a Lagos Neighborhood Watch, saying there's a law backing it in Lagos State. So do you think that states in Southwest that are backing Amotekun should have perhaps done that too at the state level, put a law that backs Amotekun such that, it's clear. We're not trying to be police, we're just assisting the police.
Well, is there any law that has backed the Joint Task Force that are assisting the military in parts of the country? Is there any law that has set the Joint Task Force in place? There's no law that is required to assist the policing of any nation. The issue of law probably might come into play if you're looking at the right to bear arms. But then the governors have been very careful in not insisting on an additional
on them bearing arms.
Bearing arms as being part of what this outfit needs to be. Quite frankly, I'm quite surprised, though, that the National Assembly, almost for about 20 years now, have not found it fit to amend the Police Act, because the Police Act is not a constitutional requirement. It's an act of parliament.
What would you want them to do?
Well, they need to amend the Police Act to allow state police and to put in an architecture. See, people talk about issues about, okay, state police, the governors will be in charge. Even the federal police, the presidency has no business determining the operational functions of even the federal police. We should move away from this notion of making the police a political issue. It shouldn't be.
All right, we'll return and conclude this in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. What have you heard there? It's Western Nigeria Security Network. The governor of Ondo State was reading out some items, and those are clearly what police is set out to do. So when people then say, "Oh, wait a minute," but if it's a Western security network, it has that impression and that form that, well, this is actually out there to perform a core policing function, even though you say just to assist.
Well, I think it's an effort that ought to be commended. If you are in a state of insecurity as we are in, facing issues of herdsmen, issues of kidnapping, all the issues that have been enunciated by the governors, one would have thought that any well-meaning Nigerian occupying the position of Attorney General of the Federation will not utter statements that will appear as if he desires that there should be some state of insecurity in any part of the country. He has not proffered any solution to the state of insecurity. He's seen governors who are putting in place a process to assist in the policing and in securing their states. And instead of actually encouraging that process, he's come up with a statement that is not helpful, that appears as if he's being a sectional Attorney General of a country. And I think his remarks should be condemned. I think the president should call him to order, because I'm sure that the president too will appreciate that the Southwest, and particularly Lagos, is the economics powerhouse of the country. And if the state of insecurity is allowed to fester to a point where we have lawlessness, as a matter of fact, actually what the governors are doing is preventing self-help. Because if we get to a situation where the police, they've appeared powerless in being able to address the spate of banditry in the country, if it gets to a stage where the police are completely outnumbered without this extra force assisting them, giving them information, doing all the things that are required for adequate policing, then basically the country will get to a point where we'll be having a very chaotic society.
Earlier, you referenced, you wonder why members in the National Assembly haven't done something about the Police Act. So many have looked in that direction. Yeah. But now, many will be looking to see how will the Southwest governors respond to this one. What do you think will be next now?
Well, I think they should just ignore him, because, I mean, he's not, there's no basis of his being the authority to determine what one should do on the security of any one state. And all the governors are doing, basically, they're already actually performing the functions of ensuring that they provide the logistics to ensure security in their states. Because 80% of, and in some states, probably 90% of the cost of maintenance of the police is being done by the state governors. It's not being done by any federal entity. So why is that not an illegal? Why haven't they declared that as being an illegal act? So really, it's an unfortunate development, and I just think the state governors should just ignore him. If he thinks he has a legal right in stopping the proper security of anything, let him go to court.
Well, clearly, very interesting times we're at now. Well, we do appreciate your coming on this morning. Chief Shukpo Shonibara is a legal practitioner and the leader in Afenifere. Well,